So what is a variable? We know that a variable is a memory location where we can store the values. So any value if we want to store, we should have a variable. Otherwise that value is nothing but a constant, and that constant is not never going to store into the memory. So if we have to store for the course of your program, and we have to use that particular variable for a longer period of time, so we have to use a variable to store those data. In Python, data type will identify according to the data we provide. So in the last class, I have discussed about it. Like whenever we required any type of data to store in any of the variable, so the data type will not provide it previously. Like in C, if we have X and X is a variable, so how we'll write it? Like if we want to make it a character type, so we'll say char X, or if you want to make it an integer type, we'll say int X. And then we'll provide some values to X equal to 10, or we can write it down like this, int X equal to 10. Okay. Here the same thing will be done, means int X equal to 10, but int was not there, X equal to 10 will be there. So based on the data which we provide into the variable, the data type of the variable could change. So we can say that there is a dynamic typing or dynamic type of the variable is possible. Rules for variables names. So this I think we have talked about in the last class also. Let's rewind it. The name cannot start with a number. So that is the first thing that we have to look at, that whatever name will we try to provide to the any of the variable or any of the object, we have to make sure that it is not a number that we are starting it. It should always a character. Name cannot contain space. So space should not be there. Let's say if I'm writing a name like IIIT Bhubaneswar, so IIIT and Bhubaneswar should be, there should be no space in between. If you want to take a space, you have to use underscore. So that is the normal rule that we follow till now for variable assignment, or sorry, variable creation. Name cannot contain any of these symbols. So we have these symbols, and name should not have any of these symbols. So you have to remember all these symbols, and all the symbol will not use in the name of any variable. Next is, it's considered best practice that name are lowercase with upper scores. So what it is saying, that if you are making a with underscore, if you are making a variable, and that variable should be always a lowercase, and if you want to use any space in between, you can use underscore. Okay. Avoid Python built-in keyword like list or string. So as I told you, in the Python we have different keywords that we'll use in the Python. It's just like your previously defined some keywords which we cannot use in the Python. Next is avoid using the single character like L, like lowercase, or O, or this type of I. So, and you avoid these type of confusing words, confusing characters, and do not use only one letter words. If you are using one lettered words for the variable, so avoid these L, O, I, in that, all those character you should avoid. Okay. Let's go to the a property of a variable in Python, which is a dynamic typing. So what is a dynamic typing? So the meaning of dynamic typing is, whenever we have to store any of the data. So for the variable, we're not going to define the data type prior, or we doesn't have any provision to define data type of a variable prior. Instead, we just give the name of the variable, and based on the value that is assigned to the variable, that variable data type will be changed. So it is not like if we have created x as integer, we cannot make it a float, or we cannot make it as a character. It can automatically change its data type. So that's why the property of the first property of the variable, could you can say, or it is a very popular property in Python, is called dynamic typing. This makes Python very flexible to assign data types. It differs from other languages that are statically typed. So like other languages, either you can take C, C++, Java, or other languages other than Python, all are static typed. So once you have created any variable in C or C++, the data type of that variable could be the same. And if you want to change it, you have to change it explicitly. Okay. And here we doesn't have to change it explicitly. Here we just have to give the value. If the value is an integer, it will change it to integer. If the value is float, it will change it to float. So this is one example, my dogs equal to 6. The meaning is I have given a variable my dog, and the value that we have assigned is 6. And when we want to print the value of my dog, so I have to write my dog only, or you can write print my dog. So both is going to work. Here you can write print function also. That print function we have seen in the last class also, right? So that print we can use, and we can just run it. So in both the way this is working properly. Okay, let's go to this particular example here. So I think you understood what is the meaning of this, where we'll use it. So once I need to create an sort of array, I'll use it, okay? Here that thing is called, so we have different data structure in the Python. You can say these data structure have types, okay? And these data structures, the first data structure here, it is list. Here you can see is called list. So this is a list data structure here, okay? And you can see this my dogs. Previously, the type of my dog was integer. So let's say if you want the type of it, so I'll just add it. Let's say we want type of my underscore docs, okay? Once I'll run it, it will tell me the type of it. So the type of my my docs is integer, right? Now here, what we have done is we have created a variable called my docs, and in this I have given the dog's name. Okay, there is Sammy, Frank, Frankie, Ron, Maggie. So these are all different names of the dog. Now you can see that this is called list. This is a list data type. We have a loop. This is a for loop. This is how we can write the loop for dogs in my dogs. So in which data structure we are going to traverse or iterate is my dogs. This is the data structure where we are going to traverse. So the dog will go and it will print dogs, and then what it is written here is 0, means the first name. So here you can say that this is a list, and all these lists, well, the first name of the list or the first character of these name could be taken here as 0. So here we are doing, here we are going one by one and iterating. Let's say the first, it will print S, then it will print F, then it will print R, then it will print M. Okay. So in that way, it is going to print. So we have the output S, F, R, M. S, F, R, M. Let's say you just want to print the docs here. Let's see what it is going to print. So it is going to print whole name. You can see here. Okay. So here docs, we don't know what is the data type of docs, but we know the data type of my docs, right? My doc data type is list. So yeah, my doc data type is list because this is a list that we are providing into the my docs. Here my docs data type was integer. And here docs data type. So this particular docs data type should be a string because we are putting the string at a time. So once we are putting the string, another we are putting the string, another time we are putting the string, another time we are putting the string. So all these are the strings. So if you want, you can see the data types of all. And if we'll print this my docs, so definitely in the my docs, what are there? This name. So this name will come. Let's say I want the type of it. Type of this my docs. Let's run it. So you can see the type of my doc is list. As I told you, this is one data structure in Python. Int and float you already know, right? Here the next type that we have seen is list. Okay, let's say you want to know the type of this another variable called docs. Okay, so let's find out the type of docs. Here you can see what is the type. Type is string, SCR, a string. This is a string. So how many data type we have learned till now? Integer, float, then list, and then string. So till now we know that these 4 data types. Okay. So here this my dog is an integer. If you want to give, let's say 6.0 as input, let's say what will happen. See, the data type has been changed to float because I have given 6.0 as a input. Okay. Don't worry about this for loop and all. We'll do the practice with the for loop and we'll do the practice with list also. So you doesn't have to don't freaking out because all these things we'll see in detail. Till now, whatever you understand, whatever you are getting, it is okay for you. Here we are going to learn, we are learning actually about the variables, that what is the variable and how this dynamic typing is taking place. Okay. So previously we have a variable my dog whose data type was float or integer. Now it has been changed to list, right? Now this my dog data type has been changed to list, right? So this is a list data type that has, okay. So yeah, I have to run this and then we can see the data type. See, the data type has been changed from float to list. Okay, let's talk about different pros and cons of dynamic type. Means advantages and disadvantages of dynamic typing. Means what are the problems that we are facing when we do dynamic casting and what are the advantages we have when we do dynamic casting. So here it is saying that pros. Let's go to the advantages of dynamic typing. So the advantages of dynamic typing is very easy to work with, fast development time, because we doesn't have to bother about which data type I have to give to the variable prior of creating that particular data type. That's why it is very easy to work and fastly we can, or fastly development time. If you are a software developer and you doesn't have to bother about all the data type that we are putting into the program, so definitely you develop the program or you develop the software very fastly. So faster development time is there in dynamic typing. Now, what are the disadvantages we have? May result in unexpected bugs. See, what will happen is when we are using a variable and in the course of your code, at a particular time, you might face that you might have changed the data type of it, and you want to put some other values on it. So what will happen is sometime we lose what our program is going to give. So we just completely lose it, and that's why. And if we want to go to find out these bugs, that what are the bugs, because of that I'm not getting the right result that I am expecting. So you will find out that it is the finding of these bugs are very difficult, because this data type was not defined to each and every variable, and we have to track from the beginning that what was the data type, then what was the data type, then what was the data type. So it is difficult to find out the bugs related to the variable dynamic type. You need to aware of this function which is called type function. So type function we have just seen, and we are aware of this type function. This type function is very much useful in Python, so that we know that at a particular time what is the data type of a variable, and we can track, and this unexpected bugs could not come in my program. So for that I have to little bit careful. Okay. So for assigning, we have to use assignment symbol, that is your equal to symbol. This is the assignment that will follow. So we have a variable name, and any of the object, whether it's an integer object, float object, list object, string object, we can give these object to the variable name. Where a single equal to sign is an assignment operator. So you have to be very careful when we assign some value to it. So any of the object, if we want to give, we have to use the assignment that is there. Here we assign the integer 5 to the variable a, right? Let's assign a to something else. So here we have assigned 5, and here we are assigning 10. So you doesn't have to bother about it. But in a program, if you want to use two variables, and by mistaken you have taken only one variable for two values, so definitely it will override. So here you can see that here previously I have given 5, and later on in the course of my program I want to take another variable, but mistakenly I have taken a again. So that will create the problem. So instead you have to make sure that if you have taken a, you have to take another variable b to assign some new values to it. Okay. If you are assigning a, definitely that 5 will be override by 10. We can now use a in place of number 10. So definitely the value of a is nothing but 10. So 10 plus 10, the value will be 20. That will get. Okay. Now here is called reassigning the variable. So we can write like this. If we have created a, let's say, I'll just run it so that my variable will be created. And if you are creating the value of a, and right now you know that what is the value of a? A is 10. So when I do a equal to a plus 10, I can do that. 10 plus 10, it will be 20. Right? So the value is 20 here that we'll get. This is called reassigning. Okay, this is called reassigning. That I am assigning another value to the variable. So this thing we can use a shortcut method like this: a plus equal to 10. So this thing you might have seen the same sort of reassignment in the C also. Okay. So A equal to A plus 10, I can write A plus equal to 10. Both will give you the same value. So here also it will give you the same value. So here the value of A was 20. So 20 plus 10, it will be 30 right now. Because we have reassigned the value, right? So previously it was 10. After this, the value is 20. And after this, the value will be 30 because we have added again 10. You can do it like that also. So what is the result of this? It will be A equal to A into 2. That is the meaning of that. Okay. So instead of writing A equal to A into 2, what we have written, so this is the same as this. So we are writing into equal to 2. So both are same. Okay. So here it will be 30 into 2, it will be 60. 60 will be assigned to A. So 60 is assigning to A. So the value of A is right now is 60. Getting it? So this is how your reassignment is going to work. So either you can use like this, A into 2, or you can use into equal to. Okay, both are correct. So right now the value of A is 60. When I again run this particular code, it will be 60 into 2. It will be 120. Okay. So when I run again the code, it will be 120 because the value of A is 60 at that particular time. Now it is 120. When you again run this, so what it will be? 240, right? So this is how it works. Okay, so we already know this thing, means determining value type with type. Variable type with type. So how we can determine the variable type? So we can determine the variable type with a function called type function. Okay. So you can check what type of object is assigned to the variable using Python object, Python built-in type function. Common data type including, so these are the common data types. Okay. So what we know till now, we know what is integer. What do you mean by floating point numbers? What is string? Okay, any string if you want to assign. What is list? So till now we know these four data types, and other data type we'll see later on. So we have some more data type like tuple, DICT is for dictionary, set, and bool, which is a boolean, true or false. So okay, the data type of A is int. Why? Because we are assigning some integer value to it. So the data type of A is int. Now A equal to 1, 2 in a square bracket, it is a list. So that's why the type of A is right now list. So you can see that the type of A, how it is changing from integer to list. There is simple exercises that we can do here to learn about the variable again. Let's say this is where we are calculating some sort of income and the rate of tax, and then what is my income tax. Let's say my income is 100 rupees and my tax rate is, let's say, 10%. So what is my income tax? My income tax will be 10 rupees. So 10 rupees I have to pay from my income because my tax is 10%. So all these are the variable. This is a variable. You know what is the variable type. It is an integer type. This is float type. And right now this is, because we are multiplying integer with float, so definitely we'll get some float value that we are assigning to my tax. That's why the output is 10.0. It is your float type. So this is how we can do the variable assignment and reassignment the variable, and